beyond the lecture hall. So I guess like you don't have to go to university to be this talk to be appropriate. There's some these correlations definitely need to be had. Um, so why I started learning every day. So bit of background for me, I was used to do a bit of teaching, and I started learning web development. I've done sales, um, but when I started learning web development, we kind of never learned how to secure our websites, and I spent ages building this zombie website for a proof of concept idea. I thought someone could easily hack it. So then I looked into the cybersecurity side, and I found that even more interesting. So if you know, role in university, they said no, apply again. They said yes eventually. After my first year, I kind of thought it wasn't really enough. I was learning a lot of theory, but wasn't really learning like the skills that I thought at the time you'd need. So I started learning during my first summer holiday, so to speak. I wanted to get hands-on calls. I wanted to learn the technical side of things, like the blue team and the red team. But I also really want to improve my writing. As a dyslexic person, I always struggled to writing, so I decided to start my own little learning adventure. Inspired by Andy, who I saw. He didn't post every day, but I saw his like 365 days commitment, 364 days commitment he'd done. So I kind of honoured that and done a homage to him. So I started. This is more LinkedIn 2 years ago. I had like what 20 friends on LinkedIn at the time. It was just a way for me to be held accountable to myself. Um, then I had done it 365 in the end, and I grew up to an amazing like community, people all across the globe. Um, but then something interesting happened. I kept getting messages every day from people all around the world saying what they're struggling with, any advice on how to learn this and what to learn this. So I decided to do it 500 days. So I ended up doing 500 days, just to show people, oh yeah, this is how you do it. Just a little bit here, there, just post every day. With that, I achieved rank 9, yeah, 9 in the UK. I don't know how I was worldwide, but still blogging every day. That's through when I was in hospital, broke my arm, had to have surgery. I think I've done 496 on the hospital bed. I was in hospital for 3 days, so I had some time to kill. So that's how the journey really started. And here's the thing: if you go to university to study cybersecurity, have you ever considered what if it isn't enough? So we all, when you go to university, you expect to be taught by professional people, have really high standards of education, and for the most part, you really do. That's brilliant. But there's only so many hours in the day, and when you break it down, that's when things get a bit confusing. But what do we get out of uni? Most universities in the UK have 2 terms, so it's 12 weeks one side, 12 weeks on the other side. Contact hours, so it's 260 hours a year on average contacting. So that's not necessarily listening to lecturers. That's when you're actually being taught, not independent studies. When you work that out over a year, that's 5 hours a week. That's less than one part-time shift. So it does really, it gets you thinking that is what we're doing really enough? When you take into account sickness, your own sickness, staff sickness, there's a big thing a few years back with staff going on strike, council sessions. You don't really get those back. Well, my university would never got the time back. I'm sure that's the case with other universities as well. Let's get to a simple comparison of that, what that really means. So uni across the year on average 260 on contact hours per year. Greg's part-time shift is 400 hours. A full-time cybersecurity role is at 1,800 plus hours a year. That's 37 and a half hours per week. So you're spending 260 hours a year if you just not sandwiches, just normal standard university to prepare yourself for a real full-time job. But in reality, you're spending more time in your part-time jobs at Greg's if you're doing part-time work, which is kind of, I don't know, it's it gets a bit confusing, and priorities do come into question. And then you look at the most common degree the university students in the UK leave with is an upper second. So that's not the best. That's B, and that's fair. That's it's the most common thing. So that's fair to understand. Um, but what happened? What could we really do if we just done 45 minutes every day on average? How I got my learning in was I'd get up really early. I'd take my train to university. I'd do my learning on the train, and I'd do my write up during a lunch break or on the desk or whatever. But on average, you could say 45 minutes daily. Obviously, 45 minutes weekly. That's more than you're already at that point. You're already more cyber learning in that 45 hours per 45 minutes per day over the week than you are the whole entirety of university. So it's something to consider. But what happens if we've done both? I think we can all say that 45 minutes. Oh yeah, I've done 45 minutes for a reason. It's not an hour. It's an episode of something on Netflix, a supernatural episode. It's a house episode. It's whatever, Friends, whatever. 45 minutes is definitely manageable. So you could choose to sit and watch TV, or do some cybersecurity learning. But when you combine that up, it really is impactful. Again, it's more than a full time of uni teaching, just from just yourself doing 45 minutes a day. And skills I learned by doing this challenge. So real hands-on skills by doing CTFs. So exploring both blue team and red team, solving real world problems. So that's an interesting one. When you do a lot of mixture, I mean, some people want to be a pen tester and they just do pen testing rooms and they just go all blast in that. Fair enough, that's your bag. But if you kind of do both, you kind of see, this is how this is the attacker's mindset and this is the defender's mindset, and you really connect the dots. Double the effort, but you don't have to be an expert in everything. I've really found my communication skills in regards to my writing it really improved a lot. Again, as a dyslexic learner, sometimes I spent more on the actual write-ups for my LinkedIn post than I did on like my try hack with hooves. But that's just something you have to bear yourself. I mean, not everyone's going to be having to do that, of course. Confidence to try and fail and figure things out. Ultimately, you're not at risk. You're just in a safer environment, learning what you want to learn. You mess something up too much, you could just restart the room. You delete something, you could just restart the room. So it's really like a nice way of learning from my point of view. Clear clarity, great clarity. So I realized earlier on I cannot stand logs. I really can't stand logs at all. I think they're the most boringest thing, and they're particularly hard to write about when they're so boring. Some people love them, that's fair enough. But again, as a dyslexic person, I don't really read the words per se. I mean, most of us just read the first and the last bit, but I kind of make it up as I go along. So I don't have that attention to detail for sneaky tricks that the hackers out there try to do with like renaming processes and stuff. I'm terrible at that. So I'll be like, that's not my bag at all. What I did struggle with as well was imposter syndrome. So you start on LinkedIn and you're connecting with people and professionals all around the world, and that are in like CISOs and such high positions, and there's just you trying to learn like cybersecurity and talk about what you're learning to like people that have been doing it for years. So that was a struggle at first. I kind of did realize though that it's such a supportive community, that wasn't really a problem in the end. And in fact, people turn around and start asking me for advice, which is really funny. No clear roadmap. So I think some people have an idea what they want to do. I have more generalist mindset. I like to know a bit about everything. Jack of all trades, master of none. But I think you can know a bit about everything and still master an area. I think it's possible. It's just slightly longer. But when you're looking in, oh, what do I learn next? What do I learn next? And to take like a platform like TryHackMe, for example, you've got 1,000+ rooms. There's a lot to pick from. They're particularly not good for new people as well. Like the guidance, and there's no real paths. I mean, they've got some learning paths, but they're not brilliant. No offense to them. Burnout. So yeah, 500 days of logging and writing and learning every day. And I was doing my volunteer work. I had little holidays away for like conferences. So there's some really, really tricky stuff. It really pushes your limits sometimes. I don't want to do it. But that's why being a part of a community is really important, because people say, I'm waiting for your when's the next Joe Wells post, and that's one of my friends like, he only logs in on LinkedIn to see my posts because he finds it too really cringe, and I thought that's kind of touching, really nice thing to say. But again, another thing was explain to people that don't get what I'm actually doing. So 1 week they'll see me learning about logs, and then 1 week they'll see me learning about intrusion detection systems or threat analysis, and it's like, you're not focused on this, you're not focused on that. Who are you? You're not a pen tester, you're not a SOC person, you're not a C.I.C person. So it's really struggling with, no, I just want to understand a bit about everything. So that's some struggles there you might have to deal with yourself. But for me, while self-learning really matters, and why you should bother. So you could be at university, or you could be transitioning for another career. When you look how, so part of my past role was teaching and construction. The students had to learn how to build a barbecue, just the basic barbecue, proof of concept that they understand what they wanted to do. But what happens if the world suddenly changed with the standard of barbecue building? Well, you'd have to go back to the drawing board. You have to write this, and okay, this is how we market it now. It has to be with this. It has to be plumb here. It needs to have this angle here, this angle here. Now that's construction. That's barbecue. Now imagine that in the world of cyber, where one update can really change the way we think. So, for example, ChatGPT overnight changed phishing really, because now you had people that couldn't really get away with not having spelling mistakes because they could ask ChatGPT to make it for them. So one update can happen really fast, but then the school or education provider, it could be a boot camp, it could be university, it could be college or whatever. There's a process they have to go to change the curriculum, and that's awful slow. They don't have much freedom as you think. Employers want hands-on, not just theory. So theory is cool. We should all understand what DNS is, for example, but we should all know how to use Wireshark, or if you're in doing digital forensics, for example, or SOC analyst, Burp Suite, if you want to be a web app tester. These kind of tools you kind of have to know if you want to demonstrate you're able to do the job. And number 3, you don't get better by waiting. When you're at university and there's modules in place, or maybe Monday you're learning about pen testing, Tuesday you might be learning about SOC, Wednesday you might be learning about GRC. Because you're waiting, you are limiting yourself. Like, you may really love GRC, but now you have to wait two whole days to go and learn some GRC. If you decided that actually I really love learning this, you could do that yourself. That help you be more engaged. So basically, self-learning lets you adapt, explore, and grow in your own terms. You're not just like limiting yourself by what someone's saying. Oh, you have to learn this. You have to learn this. You can do both. If you really want to learn about machine learning, how that implements, how that can affect pen testing, for example, or AI can affect this, or mumbo jumbo can affect that. Well, you can do it. You don't have to wait. You don't have to wait to be told. It makes it really interesting and say, actually, I'm going to do an assignment. We got an assignment on making a policy procedure. Well, you can start doing that already. You could be doing that already. You look at the module, what you learn in ISO 27001, for example. You could read up about that. You can go to the library. You can get a book. You can download a PDF. There's like loads of free sites out there, so you can really control your way of learning in your career. What you get from learning every day as well, I think you kind of gain some real confidence, because if you're a slow learner like me, or you really struggle with this or you struggle with that, if you're doing your homework before you even got it, you're really at an advantage there, because perhaps you're in a class and the lecturer is explaining something you already know. Perhaps you can ask a more in-depth question and learn a little bit of extra knowledge. That kind of like sets you up for success. In my opinion, it really does. Again, fast skill growth. You can really, if you're doing 45 minutes a day, and we know from the maths that is equal to a whole year. In 1 year of university, you could be getting 2 years of education, so you're almost like a year ahead of everyone, and that does snowball to the third year. You could be at master's level of understanding. By the third year of university, you could be a subject matter expert because you've had like 3+ years of learning something you're particularly interested in. And that gives you that career clarity of, actually, I know a little bit about everything, and I really hate logs, but I really like pen testing. I don't want to do pen testing, but I really like C.I.C. You kind of get that freedom to explore. Momentum that feeds into motivation. Now, you could have a really, really sad life, and if you're feeling down and you're depressed or something like that, then someone gives you like your grade and you got distinction, or you got like you've done really well and they pat you on the back. That feels quite good. Imagine if you've done that every day. We stuck with this room and and I succeeded, and that kind of motivation that gives you allows you to continue. There's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. You're getting the endorphins, you're learning and you're growing. For my own journey, unexpected wings. I never, in terms of public speaking, I've taught classes, but I've never done like public talks. I've been invited to talk quite a few events now, groups like this, for example, panels. I've met some of the best people in the world that are involved in the cybersecurity community I've met, and it's been so fantastic to meet them, and they're connecting me with others. And I've been on panels, business panels. I was on some, sounds really weird, I broke my arm. I was on a panel evaluating cybersecurity businesses for university professors. It's like, wow, how did that happen? I left school with no GCSEs, nothing like that. I had to like all my way into university, and through self-learning, demonstrating that I'm capable of learning, I'm invited to critique professors at some prestigious universities. And honestly, they did need some critiquing, because some of them were great, some of them were fantastic, but some of them were great. And it's just little opportunities like that, by being consistent and sharing what you're learning and trying to inspire others to say, oh yeah, I'm really rubbish, but you can do it too. He does. It's a crazy feeling. The truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. A university degree isn't, and university in particular, is not designed to get you job ready. There's reasons behind that, and it's mainly the syllabus. So there are some universities that are NCSE accredited, and there's some accreditations, and so I know a university in particular that can't get that because it does too much cybersecurity. But the NCSE want you to have some computer science or some database knowledge. So some universities play their game to get that tick of the box that, again, employees don't really care about, but they can say, oh, we're NCCE accredited. But the reason why they don't want to be, they love it, but they don't want to be accredited because the students kind of suffer for it. So then you're thinking, do I go to one that wants to do it for this reason? And how do we know the reason? Or do I go to the one that's ticking the box? And yeah, you might need to know something about databases depending on what you want to do. If you want to be GRC or cyber or cultural awareness, I don't think you need to. That's just my opinion. Most students graduate with theory, not with confidence. So through my LinkedIn and my connections with the cyber whales, I've spoke to hundreds of university students at this point. And I'd ask them, even third years and graduates, and they still can't get a job. And it's like, why can't you get a job? Oh, I didn't do this. I wish I'd done this. I didn't have the confidence for this. Oh, yeah, we didn't learn this, and I didn't feel comfortable doing it. But they graduated. They have a piece of paper saying they can do the job. And then we have another kettle of fish or whatever saying you want to use with the AI now. I know some students that have actually never done an assignment themselves. It's all ChatGPT. They've not been caught out because there's no way of detecting it, to be frankly honest. And the way they've done it, they've always used ChatGPT, so their writing style is the writing style of ChatGPT, so no one can really call them out on it. But that person could end up with the same grade as me. The same piece of paper saying, this person stuck on something for 3 years and is now ready. I don't think they might be ready though. And to that point, if you don't build your own edge, no one's going to really build your own edge. You look at a cohort, perhaps you'll start with 30 or maybe even 300 students in your first year. And some people will leave, some people will change, some people will drop out for whatever life reasons. But then after a while, you get to your third year, and then everyone has the same piece of paper, graduating often with the upper first, so the B, with no differentiator. They've not really discovered what they like. They've just followed the process of, we learn this, learn this, learn this. That's brilliant. It gets you the piece of paper, but it's not what people really want. Everyone's unique. They want your perspective. How do you solve this problem? What do you do with this? How do you communicate this issue? They're the kind of skills that you need to be developing, but you can't really do it unless you kind of self-learn. I don't think it's optional anymore for self-learning. I really do. I think you can't just say, I'm going to go to university and study cybersecurity and that's the end. You need to be doing the stuff at home. You need to be doing the extra. You need to be going to the conferences, etc. You think you take a year off cybersecurity or a month off cybersecurity, and one update, the ISO update changes, or this happens, or this standard's changed and this tool is broken, so now we're using this tool. You kind of out of touch with it all. But if you're kind of learning a little bit every day, you're kind of learning that professional development within cybersecurity is an ongoing thing. You won't know everything. You'll never know everything. You might be a subject matter expert in one particular area, but really, it's a journey. And anyone that says they're an expert in everything cybersecurity, just walk away, because there's a line. There's not a generalist expert that's an expert in everything. It's not. There's too much knowledge out there. You can understand a bit about everything. That's why continuous learning is really optimal, in my opinion. Consistency can really change that. How it's changed my life is I never aimed to be brilliant, never aimed to be an expert, never aimed to be this. I just wanted to learn a bit about everything really and try and connect the dots. So that allows me to understand the blue team perspective. What's this person do in a day-to-day job? What's this person to do? Blogging has allowed me to be accountable to myself and to the people that used to read my posts. That not necessarily cheating, but certain cyber events, people say, what's the password for this? What's the flag for this? And so, no, go learn yourself. We'll do it together and just learn yourself. So I was able to share my journey online, and I think that helped a lot of people start their own journey. It allowed me to focus on the fundamentals. I didn't chase certs. I still don't chase certs. I don't have the money for certs, and I kind of don't need them at this point, to be frankly honest. If a employer wants to pay for them, fair enough, but I'm not going to spend my own money at this stage of my career to, to prove something that I know, when I could just have a conversation interview. We talk about this, we talk about that. Consistently going to events like we've spoke about B-sides, we've spoke about women in cyber events. Claire Johnson does a fantastic event yearly. She does them online as well for the cyber women in Wales and cyber women unlimited now. Yeah, that's the one. So there's so much cool events out there and connections you can make. And for example, my first B-sides, I didn't have a ticket. I turned up and I managed to talk my way in because they're sold out, but I managed to get in, and that's how awesome the community is. Someone gave me a chance to let me in. It allowed me to learn a bit about everything. Kind of allowed me to understand what I really enjoyed, and I think that could do the same for you as well. If you go for a generalist mindset and you want to learn about this or you want to learn about that, you kind of learn what you don't like and what you do like. So originally, it was the whole pen test and hacker thing. Then I realized that actually, I prefer like the GRC side of things. I think we can actually really make an impact with the GRC as opposed to like pen testing and even SOC. No offense to the SOC people out there. But then I looked into the GRC and I was like, then I got into my own passion, which is online safety for children. And like, I can really make an impact here, and that's the kind of thing I want to do in my life. I want to help people. If people come to this community in this industry for money often, if you go for sales, you could probably earn a lot more money than you can in cybersecurity, and you can start earning money within the first week, commission and whatnot. Day one, not one day. What I mean by that is, you might be thinking, Joe, what? Joe's actually got quite a lot out of this. Maybe I can do it as well. Or you see someone's on a diet and they've done so well. They're I'll just wait till next month, or I'll wait till I've got a party. I'm gonna have some drinks. I'm gonna have like a birthday cake. I'll wait till that, and I'm gonna wait till that. It's like, don't do that. Just start. And how to start is something I think people should really focus on. That it's not really the focus. It's not how you start. It's that you start. So pick any learning platform. Try HackMe, Pseudo Cyber, Let's Defend, Hack the Box. Just try anything. Get a free sub, get a discount. Just try anything, and just anything. Commit 15 to 45 minutes a day. Just do that. Just do that for a week. Post about it. Talk about your experience, what you liked, what you didn't like. It's almost like a journal, and that inspires you to learn. And then find your focus later. So don't think about, I want to learn this first. Don't. This is not what this is about. This is about just learning whatever you can straight away, getting the ball rolling, because then you could pivot. If you're getting used to like going on like Try Hack Me, for example, 7 days a week, and then your day 30, like one of our guests, he's in his 30 days now. But then you can kind of think, actually, I really enjoyed this side, and you start learning that. But just beginning, hardest step. So take all the difficulty away and just start. Like with that meme, just do it. Literally, just start. Get over and done with. Get all the struggle out of the way, and just try it. And turning up is just 90% of the battle. That's it. Just turn up. Give yourself 15 minutes. Learn something. Do a flag. Read something. Again, it doesn't have to be online. Just do something, and you get the habit, and you get there. So with me, I'm still doing it. So 764 days. I try and focus on the learning, and I think this is what some people get really wrong. The idea of like streaks and learning every day isn't to say that you've done it. Oh, I've clicked a button and tried me. I've got a little my streak's gone up. The gamification. that the gamification is not the thing. Don't focus on that. Just focus on the learning. Focus on actually, I want to learn something new every day, or just have a slightly better understanding of subject every day. Then that really does escalate, and the streak's minutia. It doesn't matter because you kind of get the first of the knowledge. So yeah, just by that mindset, I've managed rank 7 in the UK now, and rank 76 worldwide. And I don't really care about the rank. It's just a consequence of just turning up every day. I'll stop at a thousand rooms. I think that's nice and clear. I mean, some rooms are really stuck at the moment, so it might be longer. But yeah, I think 1,000 rooms, and then I'll be done. I think. I can't see time or anything like that. If anyone has any questions, just let me know.